I'm Sharmila Manick. I too am a principal felony attorney with the Lake County Public Defender's Office, and I think I am now actually in my 11th year. This used to be, did we do it wrong?
Actually, one of you didn't score the closings.
Yeah.
Oh, that was me.
No problem. I'll just be, I'll let switch this up.
No, you can go ahead.
I think I'm in my 11th year. This used to be my courtroom, and I'm now next door. I don't know what else to say. I too do felony trials, anything from murders to sex offenses to drug cases, very defense oriented. I also have judged this mock trial competition. I think for every year they've had it, I think almost 10 years. I have to say that I think, well, I guess I'll wait till they come back just in case there's any other issues. I too participate in judging a lot of competitions and things like that. It was great to be able to do this one since it's the last one here.
Sharmila and I both try cases together. We're trying to add some space and do some fillers. Sharmila and I also we practice together often. We try cases together often. I'm gonna ask us some questions. How about that? Since we can't talk to you about the case until
Well, you can give general comments. We're just not allowed to tell you our school evaluation yet.
Oh,
okay.
Okay. Okay, I gotta tell you, I think these two were probably the best two teams that I've seen in the first round since I've been doing this, and I want to say I've done it for at least 9 years, if not until 10. First of all, everyone looked great. Everyone's demeanor was exceptional. Everyone, just my general comments, hold on, general comments. You guys were all really well prepared. You guys were all really good with objections. And like, I know that I threw, I believe it's Ms. Ronaldo, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Some objections definitely that should have gone your way, I didn't give to you. And all of you guys kept your cool and were able to go along with whatever the rulings were. And it's hard being up here. I don't usually have an appreciation for what judges do when I'm down there. I always want to get mad at them. But it's hard. It's like hard trying to read and look and be like, objection overruled. I do a critique, but since we're just doing general stuff, I'll pass it over to Tanya.
My comments are similar to Ms. Mannix. You all, both teams look very great. You definitely look professional, great use of the room. One critique I have, you have to ask permission to publish your exhibits to the jury. So even though you admitted it and all of that, you still have to have permission to publish your exhibits. That was one thing that I saw that both teams did not do, that you may want to do to score some extra points. But my critiques are mostly specific, so I'll go back to Ms. Manick to start that.
Okay. No one's going to be able to read my writing on their sheets. I'm just going to say that now. You know, I'm going to go through each one just only because it's the easiest way for me to do it. Now, Chris, your opening, I thought it was really, really, really good. I think a general critique that I would have for everyone is you guys are kind of long-winded. It's like, get to your best points, get in, get out, and don't waste time on things that are not as important. Chris, you did something in the opening where you were trying to do the clap thing for like for when he got hit, I think. Do it harder. Like, it's not a clap. He's dead. Like, that's your point. Don't define reasonable doubt. I did not like that. In criminal law, we're not allowed to do it. It is a no-no. You do not define it. You don't come close to defining it. You stay away from it. You could say, the state has to prove this beyond a reasonable doubt. It's their burden. I also wouldn't focus on the fact that it's their burden so much if I was the defense in their opening, because then it takes away from you believing your client. I would just say, they have to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt, and they're not going to be able to, or something like that, versus saying, they have to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. They're not going to prove it. I mean, it's, Dawson. Blindness and blame, I like the theme. You have a really good presence. Be careful not to argue when you're opening. I think, I'm just going to go through this really quickly because I'm sure Latania's got a lot of the same things, so I'm just going to skim for a few moments. You did, Dawson, you did really nice close-ended questions on your cross-examination, which I think is key. I think Longstreet gave you a little bit of a some problems with saying something like, I didn't know if he was the lead attorney. He kept saying, I didn't know if he was the lead attorney. I think you could do it a little differently by saying, and maybe this could help you in your next round by saying, listen, you talked to Detective Kimball. This was your go-to guy. Whenever you had information regarding the case, this is who you spoke to. You didn't call another officer, you called Detective Kimball. I think you could do it that way. I don't know if that'll help you, but hopefully it will. Tess, you did a really nice job with the whole costume and the thickness of it. In fact, that you probably couldn't hear me, it was really distracted. I did wonder though, because at some point I think the witness said, yeah, but I heard it when I was on break and out of my costume. You just left that. Like you just let him get away with that. I think you either don't ask it, just like focus on the costume and leave in everyone's mind that this dude couldn't hear anything. And Jaleesa, you have a really nice presence as well. Your voice is something that people want to listen to. I think you got to relax just a little bit more, because you had some excellent points, like when you were doing I think you did the crossing of the defendant, right?
Yeah.
That was excellent. I mean, your use of the demonstrative, it was great. Like this is what you pressed. I would probably end with that though, because it's your strongest point, and just say, listen, you pressed it. Don't yell at her too much because she came off really good for the defense. So it's like people want to protect her. But your point of, listen, you press this button, end with it, and just leave it at that. And I thought you did a really good job when she was crying and doing everything else that she was doing on the stand, trying to keep it controlled, which I thought was really good. Okay, is it Terrence?
Yes.
Okay. You did a really, really, really good job. You're very comfortable. You did a great job with absolutely everything, with the objections, with your responses. You were actually listening to what the other team was saying, and you were responding to what they were saying in your responses to the objections, which I thought was huge, and I thought it was great. And I think it was, I want to say that in the closing, I think Tess, I think you may have left the exhibit back up here. Always take your exhibit with you, because the prosecution used it against you in there when they came back up.
I'm Ross, yeah.
Take it with you. There was one last thing. I thought the defendant was phenomenal. I thought the defendant was probably how we want our defendants to be. I thought you made the defense's case. I gotta say, for the other two defense witnesses, I am not the biggest, like, do you guys have to play those parts and do those accents?
No.
Okay, I was not the biggest fan, and I'm gonna be honest with you, because, I mean, I think to help you guys in your next round, I was not the biggest fan of your demeanor in terms of how you were speaking. It's not how normal people testify, it's just not. It's not believable. Like, you were great with, like, your knowledge of, like, everything. Both of you were. Like, you knew it. You had excellent points to help your team. But the way it was coming off, it's like I almost didn't want to listen, because real witnesses don't testify like that. Real witnesses are actually more like how the defendant testified. They're not over the top. So, at least, I mean, unless they're crazy, which, you don't always get. So, I would tone it down just a little bit, both of you. I mean, I get that you're a bartender, but I don't necessarily know if you have to, like, dress that part and, like, have that, like, accent. It kind of takes away from what you're giving, I think. Like, you guys both had amazing knowledge and amazing information to give. I just kind of felt like it took away from the strength of the defense's case. And there's one last thing I wanted to say. Both of you guys had excellent points in your closing arguments, by the way. The way you argued it was phenomenal. There was one more thing on the defendant that I wanted to say. Oh, on the redirect of the defendant. I thought you were going to get up and you were going to do the why did you lie to the police.
Yeah, I should have.
If not, do it in your direct.
Yep.
So if you do it in your direct, they can't use it against you in cross. I mean,
Yep.
you've already got her to say, hey, listen, I lied because I was scared. I mean, and I was talking with Tanya about this. I don't know if pointing this out really helps, because what I look at the bottom right, I see the go button. So the way that I see it is when I look at that big black thing, she's she should know that the bottom right is a go button, not a stop button. Cause this is also at the bottom right. That's just me though,
Okay.
alright?
I'll try to go quickly. Most of my comments are similar to Ms. Manning's, but Chris, I thought you had great eye contact. You had good use of the space of the courtroom. Your voice control is really important. It's good when you know when to rise and you know when to bring it down. You rise it at important points. Terrence is really good with that, and then you bring it down at points. You explained your elements and what your side expects to prove. I too thought that the opening was a little too lengthy on both sides. Opening is really a quick outline of what you expect the trial to show, and you always link it back to closing. But if you spend too much time on opening, the facts sometimes get a little blurred, and it maybe become difficult to tie it back. So that's why you want your opening statement tight, succinct, and just an outline of this is what I expect to show you. And then in the end, see, I told you what I expect to show you, and I did, and then you go down there. So be careful with your opening, and that's both sides. Dawson, I like that you started with a theme. I love that. I love it. Perfect introducing us to your defendant. When you walked over to her, you made her a human being. And she really did carry the case for you all. And I think it helped that you demonstratized her, if you will. You made her a person. You let us understand, okay, wait a minute, maybe she isn't this murderer, and I wrote that. You also had great voice control, pointed out the issue with the state's case, and you told us what you expect will come out of the trial. And as far as the burden, you do want to be careful, Ms. Maddox, I agree with her. You do want to be very careful saying who has the burden, because a lot of state's attorneys here, they said, we have the burden, we gladly accept it, and it's like, yeah, whatever. But seriously, you know, you want to try to stay away from that, because we want to believe your client, and not, juries don't like to find a technicality as the reason why you win your case. Terrence, your tone is very good. You allowed the witness, and this is on your directive, J.C. Long, you allowed the witness to have all the attention, and that's exactly what you do in direct. Your position is important, your voice should be lowered, the witness, this is their time to shine, their time to be articulate, which, Aaron, you were very articulate. I like that you made very good eye contact. Every time I looked up, you were there explaining it to me, which shows me that you're an expert in what you're talking about. You did proper admission of Exhibit 1 and 2. It was very good response to, I think it was the excited utterance to her hearsay objection. That was very good. Aaron, I said you were very believable. You explained the exhibits as well and how they were relevant to the case. I thought that was good. Dawson, your objection was good, but also it should have been hearsay. I think you just said foundation in regards to the skimming scam. That's what I have in my notes, which was good, but you also could have said it's hearsay too. So that's just something, you don't have to just say one reason for your objection. A lot of times, sometimes I throw out a few and say, okay, look, this judge, you kept one of them. You know what I mean? So, you know, you can do that. Very confident and knowledgeable with the facts, good objections, good position while cross-examined. Of course, tension's now on you. You did well in moving further out instead of this way. I say, Chris, also good posture. I like your posture. Some of your questions with Rory or Anthony, you might want to tighten up some of them, because I was getting a little confused about some things. So you may want to go over some of that a little more. Anthony or Rory, your character name, very good acting. Also knowledge of the work product, the wristbands, I thought was good. It seemed very credible as a witness. The part regarding being mistreated by the police seemed a little fake. Then you start, well, where are you, Rory?
I'm right
Yeah,
here.
you are. It started, that part for some reason, I think you did like this, and then I was like, you're losing me a little bit with the police officers. You had me for a long time, except you really drew out that a little too much, and I felt that if they really mistreated you that bad, it was almost like, why? You should have been outraged, or either like, I can't believe they did that to me. And it just didn't fit the rest of your character, just that part, but the rest was believable. Test good cross, close-ended questions. I would say move a little closer, because very strong with cross-examination. You are very boom, 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 you command the attention, but with direct examination, it's no longer about you. So you gotta soften that tone up a little bit and let her tell the story. Let your witness tell the story and explain it. So sometimes because you're such a good cross-examiner, sometimes it's difficult to switch and become a good direct examiner. Sharmila is that outstanding cross-examiner. I'm not as great as cross, but I'm very good with direct because I love to hear someone's story. So you want to be able to balance that very well, okay? And then I said and you can accomplish that by stepping back a little and also lowering your voice. Rachel, good setup to show Tyler's bias. I don't know what that was about, but I said.
Lighting mom straight.
Yes, and then I said your style on cross is exceptional. You are boom, you are a great cross-examiner. You just did a great job. You were hitting the points, you were articulate, you were sharp, it was yes or no responses that you were drawing out of them. Thought that was really good. Holly, your accent, I liked it. Your little southern charm was good. And I said it was just enough to be, where's Holly? Okay, just enough to be credible, but not over the top. That's what I said about it. So I did like that. I'm sorry if I'm taking a little long. I just want to make sure you all get everything. Defense witness Dawson to the position as a direct examiner, voice control. Questions were relevant. Glad you brought out she was fired. Okay, I put that there. Allie, wow, you must be in drama. That's what I put. I'm not sure if your acting makes you credible towards the end or becomes a little too crazy to be believable. I didn't mind the accents as much. It's just that sometimes it does take away from the substance of what you're saying. Because if I'm focusing too much on how your acting skills are, I'm losing what you're telling me. So you do want to balance that well. Chris, good control on cross. So let's see, our attention should be on you, not the witness. You raised your voice later, so you did raise it up a little later. I'm talking about the cross-examination of Allie, which made you take command. I did say some of your questions I was a little fuzzy about, and I didn't write. I just put a little star. Be careful. Some of the questions became a little unclear. Tess, you properly explained your exhibit. Good. Great offer of proof. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I said, woo! I put a lot of stars around
And
that.
she really did say, woo!
Yeah, I did. Bartender Mary Johnson, oh my God, the accent, I put a smile mark. I like it. I thought it was credible because you didn't oversell yourself. You know, you mentioned you made mistakes. You mentioned you're just a regular person. And to me, I thought admitting your flaws were good. Sometimes the accent may, distract a little bit, but then again, I said, if that's who she is, that's just who she is. I still was able to get out the fact that you were credible because you admitted your flaws. You didn't make your job over the top like you were some rocket scientist. It was like it was this, and that's all you have to do, no biggie. And I like that from you. Rachel, I just can't say enough. I love your style at cross. But you do need to be careful with directing, because that's the issue. When you're really, really strong at one, it's hard to be balanced at the other. So I said you must take less command approach with directing and be softer, let them tell their story, and it will be great. And that way your witness receives the full attention. Grace, your character didn't reflect a murderer. You really won that case if it was a win-thing situation that we're doing, because I didn't expect you to come off so humble, and I did not expect for you to, I just didn't expect it. So it was really, really good that you did that. It made me believe you were taken advantage of by the co-defendant, and you gave a great explanation of the co-defendant and the theft. So I really thought you did a great job as a witness for your team, for the defense. Jaleesa, really good. I told you you do have good command. You missed a few objections, and Terrence is good at looking at the judge and following when it's time to object. And that's a real smooth, we do it in real life. When we're at that table, sometimes you see the judge, and some of them want to object, and you can tell, and Terrence keeps eye contact to see if it's time to object, because he saw me want to object once. Sharmila overruled him, but I still think it was great for him to object because it was timely. You want to get that eye contact too, because I gave you eye contact, but you didn't do anything about it. was an objection.
I think it was like a hearsay, and I saw both of you staring at me, but I was like, I want those statements, so I like didn't do it.
Okay, I don't remember, how strong the statements were for you or not. I just remember you needed to object, and that was the big thing for
But-
that.
And in saying that, not to cut Latanya off, I mean, you know your case, and you know what you want in, and you know what you don't want in. I mean, anyone can watch and be like, oh yeah, she should have rejected. I'm a big believer in maybe, but at the end of the day, you know what you want in and what you need. So, I mean, you gotta trust yourself.
Okay.
And Terrence, you don't always have to say, yes, Your Honor, yes, Your Honor. Let me tell you something about that. You know, some attorneys, like, we do bond reviews, and let's say, I don't want my guy to get a high bond, no bond, a cash bond at all, and the judge says, $1 million, and I'm gonna say, thank you, Judge. Could you make it 2? No, you didn't do what I wanted you to do. You can be respectful, but you don't always have to say, yes, Your Honor, and she's constantly, overruling your objection. Well, thank you, Judge, can you do it again? That's what yes, Your Honor, all the time sounds like. So you wanna be careful. I understand you wanna be respectful, and I can appreciate that, but you want to be credible and also show you are an expert of the law. You know how the law is. She can get it wrong, or the judge can get it wrong sometimes. You don't have to do that all, yes, 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 all the time. Don't you wanna take some of that down? The closings were excellent on both sides. I was just so excited. I could barely write notes because I wanted to pay attention. Terrence, I just said you have an excellent courtroom presence. Your eye contact as usual, great. Your voice command is controlled and appropriate. Good detailing of the elements of the crime and connecting the facts with the elements. Good thing, co-defendant could not accomplish this without the defendant. I like that. Rachel, I love when an attorney can tie an opening to the closing. You did a great job sticking with this theme. Very good use of the elements, and how it did not fit with that defendant. I like the complicity versus facilitating. I love that comparison. I love how you did that. I like the no proof of the benefit of her stealing, even though the state doesn't have to prove that, but I think it's good for a jury to hear, you know what, she didn't benefit from it, so what was her point in stealing? So I thought, even though they don't have to prove that, but I still thought it was good to put that in there. And I said, excellent, something defendant acted instinctively, and you put the state on the block when you said, make sure they answer these questions when they come back on the right. And he didn't answer them. He did not answer them. And you laid it out what he should. I wish he had the time to come back on redirect and answer them, but he didn't. So that was very good.
And just to add to Latanya, see, and I saw it a little bit differently. You did a really good thing with the whole complicit thing. You knew the law on that, and you were like, if they don't prove this, it's not enough, it's not enough, it's not enough. I thought you actually came back in that minute and a half and you said, hold on a second. It is enough, and here's how it's enough. At least for the complicit question. And also, back to the witnesses, I don't have an issue with the accent. The accent is not what I'm commenting on. Accents are fine. I mean, that's totally, I guess my critique is more in the demeanor and the way that it's presented. Because when you're over the top, like Ms. Burton said, it takes away from the great stuff that is meant for the defense. It's like, you're not believable. You're not credible. So it's like, really? Okay, whatever. So it's not the accent, it's the delivery. And I guess that's what I would just tone down a little bit. Because when like for example, when the bartender came up, all I can think about is in someone's mind, is she a typical bartender? And if so, why does the bartender have to be like that typical bartender? Because not all bartenders are, they could be like the defendant. Like it doesn't have to be. I just didn't know where that was coming from. Also, like you were very animated, a little too animated in my view. But you had excellent knowledge and excellent stuff to give the defense. And I just kind of felt like it got lost a little bit. But you guys were amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Thank you.